Good day, learners. This is Teacher Donna, your teacher in English 10, Language of Research, Campaigns, and Advocacies. In this module, we are going to know the language used in researches, campaigns, and advocacy. Before we start with our lesson, let us have a pre-assessment to check your prior knowledge about the topic we are about to discuss in this module. Choose the letter of the correct answer for the questions given. Blank has ads that revolve around a single idea. Campaign. It provides a framework in which processes of advocacy can be easily developed and enclosed. Campaign. It is a political tool by which an individual or program aims to influence public policy and resource allocating decisions within political, economic, and social system and institutions. Advocacy. It is used by grassroots-based social movements and a tool for the elite and the state itself. Mobilization. It is a movement which uses the people in a given area as the basis for political or economic movement. Grassroots. This is a process focused on a clear and specific target. Training. This involves a lot of different groups like civic and religious organizations, particularly the members of institutions. Training. This is an act to influence decisions made by officials in the government. Lobbying. It is the other dimension that is based on fact-finding and provides the necessary knowledge to take action. Research. It includes many different stakeholders involved for the complexity of the topics usually chosen, like academics, partnership with universities, and field data and interviews. Advocacy. What is your score? How many did you get in the pre-assessment? Are you familiar with the words you encountered? How do you talk to people? Do you use the language that you have encountered a while ago? What language do you use when talking to people? How do you talk to your teacher? How do you talk to your grandfather? How do you talk to babies? Do you use the same language and style with these people? In writing a research, what language will you use? What about in writing a campaign or advocacy? In this module, let us find out what language are we going to use in researches, campaigns, and advocacy. Let's start with research. What language will we use? So what is research? Research is an imperative area in not just in the field of education, but in other fields as well. Research primarily focuses upon improving quality and is a research for knowledge. Research shows how to make provisions of solutions to a problem in a scientific and methodical manner. Research is a way of looking for new information, new understanding, and new facts. Learning the language of research can help you understand research answers to important problems. It can also help you read academic texts and tests more easily. To be able to understand the language of research, let us look at the research process. Research starts with a question or a problem. Researchers first find out what others have already learned about the subject. If the question has not been fully answered, they figure out a way to get more information. They may do further observations or perform an experiment to test their idea. Next, they analyze the data or the information they have collected. Example, For COVID-19 injectables, the best proof of clinical research is a double-blind trial. That is an experiment with two or more groups of people in which only one group receives the drug or the treatment being tested and the other group gets a placebo. What is a placebo? A placebo is a sugar pill or other treatment that looks and feels like the experimental treatment but has no active ingredients. Any effect it has are psychological because the participants expect it to work. A double-blind experiment gets its name because both the researchers and the participants are blind during the test. Nobody knows until the experiment has finished which group got the treatment and which group got placebo. That helps prevent people's expectations from distorting or twisting or changing the results. The treatment being tested should give significantly better results than the placebo. If not, any apparent difference it makes may be due to people's hopes and expectations. So, a double-blind trial is a way to check the effectiveness of a treatment. Double-blind trial is one of the language that is being used in research. What else are the words used in research? You will be encountering these words in a research like design, data, significance, evidence, treatment, experiment, conclusion, observations, and statistics. Let us have them briefly for you to be familiarized with these words of research. Design. Design is a plan on how something will be made or done. Data. Data are collected facts or information. These are numbers, quantities, information, graphs, measurements, observations, and facts. Significance. These are important data and meaningful findings in a research. Evidences. These are observations or information that can help solve a crime or shows whether something is true or false. Treatment. This is the course of action designed for research. Experiment is a test to see what happens when all factors but one is controlled. Conclusion. A summary of what has been learned or shown at the end of the study. Observation is looking carefully at something. Statistics is the organization and study of numerical data. There are several reasons results can be misleading. There may be flaws in the research design. Researchers may make mistakes during the experiment or when analyzing the data. They may even be biased, wanting certain results so much that they influence the results. Sometimes, groups that might profit from the results pay for the research but only report it if they get the results they want. Well, we have more research languages. You can read more from the internet to expand your learnings about research. Let's move on to campaign. What language do we use in making a campaign? Let us first define campaign. Campaign can be a single ad or a series of ads. Campaign has ads that revolve around a single idea. Campaign provides a framework in which processes of advocacy that can be easily developed and enclosed. Campaign convinces audience to perform a certain function. Let us look at the 5 dimensions of campaign. Number 1. Awareness raising. This is intended to make the problem to be addressed known by the general public. Number 2. Research. A campaign that is based on research provides the necessary knowledge to take action. Many stakeholders are involved here for the complexity of the topics. Example is experimenting to come up with a vaccine to cure COVID-19. Number 3. Social mobilization. These are used by grassroots-based social movements, but also as a tool for the elite and the state itself. It involves a lot of different groups like civic organizations, religions, and actions of members of institutions like mass gathering, processions, and demonstrations. Social mobilization is motivating people to organize groups for an active participation towards development. An example is the ESA Revolution or Human Rights Rally. Number 4, training. It is the process focused on a clear and specific target. It further develops the contents, but also the scope and the vision. It runs in a mid-term and long-term scenario to get in-depth into the topic. It completes the information understanding cycle. Example of trainings are trainings for teachers to update them on teaching strategies. Number 5 is lobbying. Lobbying is an act to influence decisions made by officials in the government. It is very effective since it points directly to the legislator and regulatory agencies. What about advocacy? What language do we use? What is advocacy? Advocacy is a service aimed at helping people understand their rights and express their views. Advocacy is an action for a cause or purpose such as a media campaign of a non-government organization or NGO that works for human rights to find shareholders and partners to sustain its activity. Advocacy and campaign share the same purpose, that is, to influence or convince others. Self-advocacy is speaking up for yourself, staying informed, knowing your rights, finding support, problem-solving, self-determination, and asking for help. Accommodation is a change that removes a barrier to learning or getting work done. Let us see an example of self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is speaking up and asking for what you need. Self-advocacy helps you to take charge of your life and be more independent. Accommodations are changes that can be made that will help you succeed or reach your goals. So how do you request for accommodation? First is to face your teacher, maintain eye contact, state the accommodation and reason, thank her or him, and use the accommodation. For distance learning, first is to contact your teacher via text message, call, or online applying the etiquettes. Number 2 is to state your problem. Number 3 is to explain how you tried to solve it on your own but it didn't work. And number 4 is to state the accommodation. For your activity, answer the crossword puzzle given in the link. You can find the link in the description below. The crossword activity shows how many terms are found in a research alone. Let us now know about campaigns used in advertisements. Identify the products for its famous slogan. Let us find out the answers. How many did you identify correctly? For your next activity, complete the boxes below with your own self-advocacy. Use the situation in the school where you have difficulty in one of your subjects. For your performance task, make a campaign out of the picture below. This is the end of our lesson. I hope you learned something. Keep safe and stay healthy. Goodbye!